So, so here we are in this first panel of discussion from this Women Inspirational Series from Waparita Empowering Equality. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have an amazing panel of discussion with a wonderful moderator. This is our amazing Rhonda Bowen, who today join us for introducing this panelist. And let me just tell you a bit about Rhonda, because Rhonda has been with us since the beginning of Guapalitas. This was in 2021. She was part of this G7 group where we designed this profile of leadership competencies. So Rhonda, it's a big pleasure to have you. Rhonda is a very well-experienced lady with so many years working with different nationalities worldwide. She's an international speaker, international coach, and corporate trainer. So, Rhonda, welcome. Thank you so much. It's an honor. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful chance to be with all of you today. We're so happy that you could join us for this session. And let me just give a quick introduction into what we're going to be talking about from a website's point of view. This is the website called Embracing Equity. And they say gender equality ensures that everyone has the same access to opportunities in special fields. It treats all genders equally, offering the same chances without bias. However, gender equity focuses on fairness. As a key component of social justice, it recognizes that different genders may face unique challenges. So today we're here to find out more about what our four panelists have to say about this. And so I'm going to introduce each one individually just by her name and give a little back, and she will then give some little background about her background, what she's doing, where she comes from, but also her ideas between equality and equity for women with us today. So we're starting with Nikki, whose emphasis is on DEI in organizations. So nice to have you with us, Nikki. Please go ahead.
Thank you to everybody for the. So my name's Nikki Davis. I'm based in Hong Kong, originally from Scotland, and I'm a coach and consultant. I've been building on a 2-decade career as an entrepreneur and working with corporates. I previously worked with Credit Suisse, Morgan Stanley, and Prudential, where I rose to Global Director of Diversity Inclusion. I now currently work with a large range of small and medium-sized enterprises as a D&I consultant and as an executive and career coach. In addition to my work there, I also am the chair of a board for an amazing charity called Inspiring Girls Hong Kong, who we models, and then we also teach them financial literacy. So yeah, I'm delighted to be here, Rhonda. Should I go into the first question?
Yes,
or are
please,
we going
yes,
to do?
Go right ahead.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as I said, I've worked with a large number of organizations. It's across a very wide range of D&I approaches and innovations. So some who are on the very early stages of looking at some of their policies, to some which have embedded it in every part of their strategy beyond their HR strategy as well, into marketing, into product design, etc. So I work across a number of industries as well. And there's always this discussion around equality versus equity. That comes up a lot. And these two concepts can actually be in opposition to each other. And there's a very good example where when I worked in the employee health insurance area, it came up where equality versus equity makes a very compelling argument. It makes no sense to all, right? Not everybody needs maternity care. And in the same way that not everyone needs to be tested for prostate cancer. So across all of the employees, we would do these medical checks if there was equality. But equity finds that we address people's own needs in their own context. So yeah, equality is when you take a one-size-fits-all approach and don't account for individual challenges obstacles or even legacy issues that people are facing. So that's why I think that it's important to have this discussion around equality versus equity, and to keep in mind that it's more equity that we advocate for. So why is it important for us to recognise this for women, especially now that we are Women's Month just around or day just around the corner, and we're talking about Women's History Month. So again, another example comes up in the health space, especially the health gap between men and women. Medical research has historically been done more with men's health, and predominantly male subjects in research groups. And this has resulted in a huge gap in understanding of women's health, medical treatments, and women suffer as a result. I, for one, have suffered from endometriosis almost my entire life. And yeah, I was told that this was normal to be suffering the way that I did, when some research and some money put into that research would have prevented that. So we really cannot treat men and women equally in a medical case. There's a great book, if you haven't read it or are not aware of it. It's called Invisible Women by Caroline Cruzado Perez. This explores in great detail the difference between having this default male. A good example would be urinals, right? If we put gender neutral with urinals in every toilet, it's really a one size fits all men, not men and women. So I really recommend that you look at this book, have a read at it, and see the key lessons it teaches. And that's where I find the equity and equality discussion from a woman's perspective is very important to look at. So yeah, that's my answer. I'd like to hand over to the next lady, Rhonda.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all of your insights, and that we've got a nice book recommendation as well. We're now going to move to Isabel, who's going to be looking at the world from her position in academia at the moment. Thank you for joining us, Isabel. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your ideas with equality and equity. Oh, you're on mute, Isabel. Can you unmute for us, please?
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, everyone. For me, it's such an honor to be here. I'm delighted. And yes, so I'm going to talk from this academic perspective because I'm a PhD student at the University of Tübingen in Germany. But I grew up in Spain, in a small village south of Spain. I'm from Cordoba. And yes, but I did here my master in English studies, English literature and culture, and now, as I said, I'm starting my PhD. So I'm really into academia and different fields. Well, and I engage in academia through teaching, publishing, and also mentoring. And I'm involved in feminist concerns through my research and writing, and also through civic engagement, because I collaborate with different associations. And yeah, I want to start with the question. So, what does women equity mean for me as an international PhD student? And to answer this question, first I have to give a bit of an overview and put you in some context, that is women equity in academia. And I'm going to talk from the point of view of like the University of Tübingen, but I think it's also quite generalized, at least in Europe. And yeah, so let's begin with numbers. So in terms of numbers, the thing is that it's quite unbalanced. I come from English studies, so it's a subject within humanities, and there are more number of female students enrolled at least the degree level, so bachelor or even master. But what happens when you reach a PhD? That this number of female students, there is a sudden drop. And I encounter, like in my first colloquium from the PhD, I was there, and then I was so used to see throughout my studies that it was at least 80% women enrolled. And then suddenly there, women were no longer the majority. I could see a lot of male faces that I have never seen before during the course of my whole studies. And that for me was a shock, like, okay, what is happening here? Why, if in a degree like this that all women start and there's a majority, why in higher levels they are not there? Like you cannot see them. What is going on here? And then in terms of social and financial resources, is definitely not enough. We are dealing in a situation that humanities are normally attached to femininity, women. They are not so important enough. They are not so productive enough. They don't have like this impact that other subjects like scientific related or like in STEM fields, they do have, or they are given this importance. And hence, because they're more valued, they also receive the money, the funding. It's something that is not happening for humanities. And also, because we have like social, like women and women scholars, they also have to face situations that are unfair, so to say. Then you are kind of expect, okay, so what do we have out there to support us in this journey as women and also as scholars that they can help us dealing with sexual harassment in academia or like the role of being a mother. And here at the University of Tübingen, they have one mentoring program and also like one department for it's called equity department, but then it's really focused on one single perspective, really reduced. You don't see diversity there. You don't see tackling many different approaches to this kind of topic. So it's quite reductive. So still you have to work on that. Yes, so I'm gonna wrap up. So the thing is that having said that, I would say that what is happening here, what women's equity will stand for, in my case, is balance. And to balance two spheres that kind of like growing further apart rather than merging into each other. That's how I would put it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Isabel. That was excellent. We're now going to move to Monica, and Monica's coming to us from her viewpoint of sharing stories, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So Monica, would you unmute and tell us about your ideas, where you're from, what you do, and what your ideas on gender equality and equity are? Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Monica Brown, and I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa. I'm an architect of transformation, a media maven, and a social impact catalyst. I use the media to tell the stories of women, because I'm not only a survivor of life, I'm a survivor of gender-based violence, and that actually pushed me into this particular field where I am empowering women on a daily basis. And my viewpoint is that in the work that I do, there's so much of imbalances, and equality to me, it is not a buzzword. It's the bedrock of justice for me. It's every woman, regardless of race, background, status, having the same fundamental rights. But equality without equity, in my viewpoint, is a hollow promise. And I know this firsthand because I see it every day. I work with survivors of gender-based violence. We go into a courtroom where the judge is a male person, the perpetrator is a male. And most of the time, the woman's voice, they try to silence her voice. And we really have to fight 10 times harder as activists and as female activists to get the voices of these women heard. So then I decided, no, this is not working for me. I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to tell the story. And then I got into internet radio station. I got an internet radio station, an internet media platform, and I just tell stories. I tell the story and I leave whatever is left to be decided upon for people to decide whether it's fair or not. But coming from South Africa, I don't know whether you know our history. We've got a history in this country of being oppressed as women, being oppressed in many ways. And the work that I do allow me to give women the spaces and to put them in the places where their voices can be heard. It's very small, step towards real transformation, but every woman I help every day is a step in the right direction. And from my viewpoint, I think this conversation should have been held long time ago. And I'm very happy that I was given the opportunity to actually be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. That was wonderful. And our fourth lady today in our group is a person named Nadia, and she's coming to us to sort of extend on what Monica was just saying and looking at the universal narrative. Nadia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rhonda. I'm so glad to be here with such amazing women and such amazing backgrounds that they have. Well, I will start by saying that I'm a graduate in psychology and I have a master in neuropsychology in the educational field, which I have been applying 20 years in the human resources field, especially in training personnel in enterprises, private and state enterprises. And coaching all these people, you have the possibility to see which are their struggles, especially women's struggles. And usually are repeated one by one another. So my mission also is to try to build bridges between the Western world and Islamic countries, and transform the reality of these women, the quality of life of these people that are living not also in Islamic countries, but also Latin American, because Latin American women are so resilient and so strong. But sometimes I see that they lack the confidence to go for the dreams that they are following. And even though they do it, they always find a way to do it. So I'm also the LATAM head chapter for the Connect SUC, or Global Islamic Chamber Trade and Commerce, which is an organization that is trying to build links between Islamic countries and South American businesses. So I think we are trying to do a very nice work there. Now talking about what does equity mean to me as a Latin, Arab, and Muslim woman, I would say that talking about equity is a broad and complex concept, especially when applied to women's challenges. Yeah, it requires us to go beyond the biological, social, or cultural, economic, or gender differences. Instead, we must go to the origins of the universal history and the narratives that shaped our understanding of the world. Yeah. And this is important, especially talking about Latin America and African countries. For centuries, there was not a concept of universal story, yeah, and at least until Europeans discovered the Americas. From that moment, history was written from a Eurocentric axis and a patriarchal perspective, later reinforced by capitalism and biased scientific discourse, yeah. This discourse determined who had the right to speak and from where and under what conditions, imposing a singular worldview on those subjected to colonial domination. Yeah. Today, the contributions to universal history of 3/4 parts of the world population remain excluded and invisible from the globalized paradigm. Yeah. This includes African indigenous cultures of Americas, some Asians and Muslims, and overall women, who at certain points in history even was debated if she had or possessed a soul. Yeah. So such historical exclusions have created deep-rooted structural barriers to equity, many of which are rarely acknowledged. One of the most critical is language. I've seen this once and again, because it's the tool through which knowledge, science and technology, especially all the STEM subjects, are controlled and monopolized. Approximately 90% of high-impact scientific and technical publications are written in English. This means that those who don't speak English fluently have limited or no access to academic researches or educational resources or latest advancement of science and technology. And this builds a huge gap, yeah? So equity means challenging inherited ethnocultural limitations, such as learned helplessness or the constant need to justify one's right to exist. which happens a lot in Latin American countries. Equity also means recognize the division created by hegemonic thought, which prioritize materialistic, objective, and individualistic worldview, while disregarding the spiritual, subjective, and communal aspects of human life. This has led to a fractured world, when for one side you have the ones that excel in external actions, but lack introspection and reflection, and the other that values deep introspection, but struggles to take action and make impact. So we have challenges like teaching entrepreneurship to women in first world countries, where the focus should be helping to reconnect and to the inner world or the community, while teaching entrepreneurship in the Americas should be more action driven and also respecting the integrates existing families and community structures. So equity means all that, yeah, creating real opportunities of development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia. So we've started with the terminology, equity versus equality, and now we'd like to give each of the ladies another opportunity to speak. And we're going to do that by talking about what she believes is the way empowerment of women should be happening in the world based on her own beliefs, experiences she's had, etc. And so we're going to do a slightly different order now. And we're going to start with Monica because of where she comes from. And many of you probably know the word already, but I'll say it and then Monica can take it from there. The idea of Ubuntu. Monica. Can you unmute, Monica? There we go.
Yeah, I'm unmuting. Thank you. Yeah. I have to take a deep breath when I start to talk on this. It's quite an emotional thing for me to do today because as a colored woman from the Western Cape in South Africa, I think everybody knows Cape Town very well. I hail from that part of South Africa. I carry the weight of historical inequities. You know, I was born in a time when things was completely on the other side, when we call apartheid was live. I was born into that. And I understand the intersectionality of race, gender, and class. I believe in the transformative power of education and dialogue because I've seen them change lives, especially mine. I was given an opportunity to get an education, and I managed to get out of where I was as a woman. And therefore, I empower future generations because I want them to inherit a world free from violence, the violence that I endured. And Ubuntu, as Rhonda said, is I am because we are. And that's my guiding principle. Because women's equality is not only it's not only a woman's issue, it's a societal issue, you know. And my journey from survivor to activist to consultant has shown me that change is possible. I take you back to a time where I left my abusive marriage and I literally lived on the street for a while with my newborn child because I ran away from my family. You know, I couldn't basically stay with my abusive partner. There was a time in my life that I really didn't know what to do next. And because I had the ability to read and write, and I could go to school and study for something, I could find a job. I just want to say, I will use any global platform to ensure that the world understands the impact of gender-based violence on women in all spaces of life. Because we can talk about women empowerment, but how do we empower women? How do we help them when they are really, really in trouble? Because I have dealt in my time with the most educated people in academia. in very high positions. And I'm so proud of myself. And I say this every day. I'm so close to tears. I'm so proud of myself that every day is a day for me to make change. And when I speak about women empowerment, I can say it with pride that I am changing lives of women daily by sharing information, educating them about their rights in the workplace, in their homes, everywhere where they are. And thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. It was very emotional for me to tell you my story, but today I can tell it with pride. I'm not shy anymore. I'm not shy anymore to tell the world who I am, where I come from. And I just want everybody to know, no matter where you find yourself as a woman today, always reach out, have an ear for somebody else, because you might just be that one person that will show Ubuntu and make a change in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. And we're so proud to be sharing this room and this space with you today. We really appreciate your contribution. Thank you. We're now going back to Nadia because she also has the idea that she started talking about before, but I think she'll continue now about what does it mean to have globocentric thinking. Nadia. Can you unmute for us, please, Nadia?
Thank you. Okay, empowering women means supporting programs that help them reclaim their wholeness and embrace their femininity attributes, such as love, compassion, or solidarity, that really are qualities that the world desperately needs right now. Yeah. So it will start by empowering self-awareness, self-recognition in all dimensions, body, mind, and spirit. It requires breaking from the systematic fragmentation imposed by globalization, where women are often reduced to a body used for market products, or maybe a brain exploited as labor, forced to sacrifice her natural rights or gifts for success in order to achieve success, or maybe just was seen as a spirit expected to endure hardship selflessly without dreaming big or another thing that means true empowerment from me and from my experience is initiating, promoting, and committing efforts to reconnect women with the concept of unity with capital U. What I call unity with capital U is exactly, it refers to establishing the fundamental connection with transcendental power or wisdom, one that complements the material world, rather than opposing it. Yeah, this is the only solution that could address the root of the current female problems. Everything else, if you can say it, is just palliative to the damage. Yeah, but the root can be solved like this. And a woman in balance, in complete balance, can take meaningful decisions that establish a value system for foster positive, conscious, and impactful society evolution, one that can be passed down to future generations. Yeah. So, and multiple scientific studies have proven this, that a spiritual need or satisfying this spiritual need all gives you physical, mental, and psychological. And last, it's essential for women to rediscover leadership based on unity with lowercase, yeah? Far from isolation or conflict with the male and counterpart in this journey, but in connection and collaboration that can lead her to transform the family, the environment, societies, and the planet. They must free themselves of mega industries that profit from feed their insecurities. Yeah. So true feminism and true female power lies in living through service and adding value. Yeah. So that combined with global-centric vision, see, a global-centric thinking, drives lasting changes and becomes unstoppable. As we say in Muslim world, a woman is a blessing for the father when she's small. She's the coolness of the eyes of the husband. And when she's a mother, paradise lies beneath her feet. Thank you.
Thank you. That was absolutely wonderful. And you brought up a nice word for what Isabel wanted to share with us on this idea of women's empowerment and where that comes from for her, because her idea was about what is the balance between ourselves and others. So thank you for starting with the balance. Over to you, Isabel.
Thank you. So yeah, I would like to start with okay, so what empowers me? And I think first of all is to actively listen to one another because we have our own voices, and it's something that I believe firmly in because normally you encounter this phrase, you have to find your voice, you have to find it. No, sorry, I already have it. I just want you to listen to it, to really take it into consideration. That we have to face as women. I remember when I was teaching a course on female solidarity in literature, and all of the students were female. Not a single male student was there. And this is something that is happening a lot in gender courses because men or like male students, they don't feel the need to listen to what is going on, to what is happening, to what is affecting half of the population. And this is definitely an issue. So for me, is listen to one another. Second, it comes the nurturing social circles. To me, be an international student here is connecting with other international students from students also from Germany to be engaged in different circles created by women from different backgrounds at different levels. And I think it's something that gives me a lot of knowledge. And in this knowledge lies power. When we listen, when we share, it's something that I think it empowers and that in my particular case empowers me as well. And in this, being connected with the other and listening and being there for what is surrounding you in your surroundings is where balance comes. Because how to also like be in touch with that without losing yourself, without without not like dismissing importance of like taking care of yourself. And in this balance of like being aware of who you are and being aware of your own path and also being aware of the other and of the others is when you find your empowerment. And for me is where I find my empowerment in that balance. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel. And you made a great connection now to Nikki, who one of her points that she wanted to bring up for this today is on self-analysis. So Nikki, please.
Yeah, it's great to see how this is all woven together. Well done, Rhonda, for getting the alignment right. And so yeah, empowerment for me really does start with yourself and understanding your own strengths, your own values. I like to do a little SWOT analysis for myself, you know, my strengths, my weaknesses, any opportunities, and any threats that I can see coming up for my own empowerment. That I find that exercise really helps me as well. So looking at myself as an entity rather than just as an individual. And you know, with that insight, I really can start to find sort of my own self-reliance, my insight, or the support that I need from other people. So what do I need to learn? What education do I need to engage in? And that helps me to also get clarity on my position of privilege. And thank you for being so vulnerable because it really does help me to check in on the privilege that I do have and how I can use that privilege to empower other people. And one of the examples that I do and put that into action every single day is my work with my charity, the Inspiring Girls Hong Kong charity, where we really do look for these role models to help empower and uplift children, young children and teenagers out of that cycle of poverty into jobs or careers or not believing in themselves enough that is going to perpetuate that cycle. And then another activity that I like to get involved in is a remarkable program. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I'm Remarkable is a fabulous 90-minute session where you can learn what it is that makes you remarkable and find the strength to self-promote and talk about your own achievements, which unfortunately a lot of people are not really able to do. And just by talking about what you've achieved and looking at your past, bringing that to the fore, that's a type of empowerment. You really do get self-empowered just by celebrating what you've achieved. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you so much. So we've all had lots of chances to speak, and we've been very fortunate to have the time today to share with you. But now the most important thing is finding out what's happening with you. So do you have either questions directly for any of the ladies in the room? Do you see something that you're working on where you're looking at the difference between equality and equity? What's happening with your empowerment? Are you going through something that maybe we could support you in if you bring it up now so that we can say something to you and help you with that? If that is the case, in the chat, if you would prefer to do that, or speak, and we will give you the opportunity to ask a question or make a comment on what you've heard so far today.
Rhonda, I have a question.
You have a question. Very good. There's power in silence, but we can also break the silence. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question for Isabel. My background when I was at university, I was in a similar situation to you, but undergraduate, I studied IT, and I found myself in a minority of the class, right? I think five girls, maybe out of 120 at the time. What do you think is part of the solution for getting women to study more into higher level academia in the same way that there was a large campaign around STEM to get women into those courses? What do you think the
Thank you so much for your question, Nikki, and also for sharing that. I really think a part of the solution will lie in education and to have also this representation. And I think it's something that we as a society we are working a lot on, or like having these young students in STEM fields to be exposed to inspiring women who also like went through that, who like improve all this education and tools so that they reach and go there. Another part lies in that it says unfairness. We don't understand that this is something structural and that gender and the importance of like considering gender also in academia cannot be an isolated case of giving a specific subject or treating it isolated rather than in a global understanding of that. It would be harder to reach a point in where there is balance also in that, and there is not so great cases of unfairness and not well distribution between women and men in the study subjects. Thank you.
Isabel. If I'm interpreting it correctly, I can see some names of participants on my screen that look like they could be gentlemen instead of ladies. And if that's the case, we would love to have one of you say something as well, since it's been all female voices so far today. Love to have one of you gentlemen make a comment if that's possible and you'd like to. We'll give you a moment to type if you prefer to type. There we go. Okay. Veronique has said, I use well-being training to address issues of equality in South Africa. Monica, are you familiar with well-being training in South Africa? It's in the chat. Can you see that? Can you unmute, Monica? There you go.
Yeah, I'm muting here. Yeah, well-being training is actually a very important component of self-awareness. And actually, the lady that is commenting, I know her very well. I actually invited her, and I'm quite aware of the work that she's doing in South Africa. She's fantastic at what she's doing. Yeah, well-being is a very important topic. And I am really somebody that is up for it. I always speak about the importance of taking care of yourself, taking care of, because remember, you cannot give something that you don't have. Unfortunately, that's a fact. So if you are taking care of yourself, taking care of your physical, mentally, everything, you are able to lead. You are able to actually make a difference. And I know Veronique is making, she's doing fantastic work. She's in the education sector, and I know that she is absolutely remarkable. I love her to bits because I follow her work all over, and I know she's following my work too. I've written a book, and she was one of the ladies that actually um, read it and criticized me, invited me to for a cup of tea, and she pointed out what I needed to change, and that is why I'm very thankful. And the book was actually about well-being, and yeah, that's a topic, a global thing that we actually need to also one day talk about. Very important issue.
Thank you, Monica. Nikki, would you like to say anything about the comment you put in the chat?
Well, first of all, I'd like to know about your book as well, Monica. So yeah, if you can let us know about that, it would be great to read that and to learn from you. Yeah, I've wanted to just mention that the I Am Remarkable sessions is something that I do love running these, and if anybody wants to have one for the community here at Delhi, I would be quite happy to help you to set that up as well. It's a 90-minute session. So yeah, if anyone's interested, they can yeah, let us know, and we can run one at any time and get back together.
Thank you for your offer, Nikki. That's very nice. Okay. There's someone who's already, you've already got your first taker for joining a session, Nikki, in the chat. Thank you very much. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to maybe mention? Like we've heard it out now about an I'm a Remarkable session. Are there other things that maybe we should be looking at as a group of women who are looking at the world and seeing how things are going? Adele, you'd like to mention something?
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, what a beautiful gift you ladies are giving us today. It's I always said that every day we have gifts. Life always gives us gifts. Sometimes the wrap up is different, right? Sometimes the wrap up might be with a different texture. But today was amazing. I'm so honored to listen to all this. And I just would like to raise this question maybe to all of you, because I see that there's a common factor here toward women empowerment and well-being, and this is community. This is, for me, this is a key factor for really making this happen, because alone, well, it's impossible. We hear this concepts about unity, initiating. This is social awareness, connecting with others in order to find this balance, in order to become these remarkable people, in order to be the I am, because we are. So the community plays a role, in my opinion. Well, I don't know if there's anything else that maybe we can add in that regard.
Thank you, Adele. I would add that the part that comes from community and from each of us looking to see what is good for us, meaning our well-being, but also what we're able to contribute, is what we're doing here today. And we're so happy that those of you who are in the audience are working on this with us. And that's co-creating. if we want new things, we have to come together to do those new things. And that's what we've decided to do here today as a group of ladies. And that's why we're inviting anybody from the audience to also join us. I see Christine is also interested in the session. Thank you so much. Because see, this is the way we make progress. We make progress by working together on things and creating things that haven't existed before. So this discussion today with all of these wonderful women, plus all of the nice people who've been helping us in the chat, we've co-created something that has never existed before. And that's what we're here for. And if we want things to get better for ourselves and for the rest of the world, this is exactly the kind of exercise we should be doing. And we really appreciate all of you who've contributed today. And I'm just reading in the chat that Sia is joining us as a man, and he has written something in the chat, which we can all read. Sia, would you also like to say something before I turn over the floor to Nadia? Maybe you just wanted to write first. We'll give Nadia a chance to speak, and we can all see if we have any questions for Sia. Oh, he's coming on. Very good. Sia, would you like to say something about what you've written in the chat?
Hello.
Hello. Nice that you're joining us.
Um, Hi. I just wanted to ask. Um, so the generalization of my question is kind of broad, but it goes into each part of the world has its own cultural understandings and maneuverings. I myself, being Xhosa from South Africa, we have certain ways of doing things. Even as men, there's certain ways that in our own culture we teach certain things, which I presume, from an educated point of view, are poison to the growth of a healthy man. So my question would be, how do we contextually tackle each cultural issue from a global point of view? Because broadly we can communicate from a broader aspect, but when we go and tackle the minutia of each detail, because I've heard in like in certain parts of the world that there are certain groups of men that will do certain acts as part of specific rituals, but those are for them rites of passage. But that's the thing. How then do we say to them that, yo, this is bad, but because they understand it as something that they know is normal, how do we denormalize that? Like in that's the general shape of my question. How do we do that for each part of the world in its context, in its right context? That's what I wanted to ask.
That's a wonderful question. I will turn over to Nadia first, but I would have something I could say to that as well. Nadia, go right ahead.
Oh, that takes us again to develop this global-centric thinking or thought, because start first what Isabel said about listen each other is very, very important. But listen each other, really listening, yeah, like not having prejudice of any kind, and realizing that no one of us got the truth. Yeah, the truth is something that we construct together. And this is the only way that we can do it. And about how we can make this global and not addressing the problems of each community, it's like first we have to have a common language in which we can speak. Yeah. So, and the only way to do that is forgetting the things that separates us and focus on the things that unite us, that are more. I'm sure that the things that unite us are more than the ones that separates us. So stop thinking about specific ethnic groups. It would be the first step to do it. Yeah. And then I know that every culture has like I always said, it's like we have a puzzle, a big puzzle, and each one of us has a small piece of it. So if we solve it together, it's going to be very easy. Yeah. But if not, we will have a lot of holes and missing parts always. So So I think we can start about that.
Thank you, Nadia. I'd like to just put in something that has come from my experience with a colleague from Somalia who lives here in Germany and has won the highest award from the German government for civilians here for her work in feminine genital mutilation. And one of the things, besides a lot of the work that she's doing here in Germany, an associated group that she's working with is doing something that I think goes back to what you were saying, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Sia, is that the women who were performing these kinds of operations, I will call them, on young women were told that they needed to be doing something else because if this was to no longer continued as a practice, these women needed another way to make their living. And so my friend started with another organization in Somalia, a special program for these women to be trained to sew with a sewing machine, to become a seamstress. And they got a course and they got as a gift a sewing machine, as long as they promised never to operate on a girl again. And so the thing that was terrible was being replaced by something that was positive, not only for the lady who was doing it, but also for all of those young ladies who were being saved, all of that terrible thing that was happening to them in the past. So maybe as an answer to your question, it's not what do we do to just make sure that people are aware and what's happening, but if you want something to stop, what are you doing to start something else to take its place? And this is a program that has worked extremely well in Somalia, and I've been supporting this for many, many years now from here. I haven't been in Somalia, but everybody's involved, including the tribal chieftain, whoever that is in that community, because these women are responsible to this person to make sure that this is working the way that it should. And so there's a wonderful accountability that's set up for this. And there's the opportunity for this lady to continue having an income and not to lose her faith. She is still doing something good for the community. So I don't know, maybe that would be an idea that would give you something to start with, Sia. And you've seen in the chat, we've also, Veronica said, father a nation. Wonderful. Nikki, were you going to say something?
Sorry.
Oh, Sia was going to say something. Go ahead, Sia.
Sia was going to say
Sorry,
something.
I just wanted to end. Thank you for the responses. I really found them very insightful. I like the way that you said, if you want to stop something, you need to find something to start doing to replace what you're stopping. So I really appreciate that. And I like how Nikki said, from a global centric point of view, we need to start identifying and speaking a common language that we can first establish, and then from there move with a continued communication that allows us to systematically attend each issue. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the resource. Sorry, thank you for the resource. I've never been in a GBV talk before. I always enjoy watching and indulging complex topics, and I really appreciate everyone's time today.
Thank you so much. Nikki, you were going to say something, and possibly Monica as well?
Yeah, I wanted to just appreciate that you've come to this discussion, Sia, and that you've stepped in. And I just to reiterate, there's no one size fits all on this. This is the point I was making before. You always have to meet people where they are whenever we're talking about solutions to big problems. And there's never any magic wand or magic pill that we can take. But we all can start with having a conversation, and the fact that you're here and that you're at the table and that you're engaging is a great start. So thank you for joining us.
Monica, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Sia. I invited him. I didn't know that he would accept the invitation. I really appreciate him attending the session. And I also just want to share with everybody on the internet radio that I started, one of the programs that I conceptualized was or is Men Matter. And my main aim with that particular program is to discuss issues and get people to talk. Because maybe by listening and seeing the other side of things, I'm starting something, like you said, Rhonda. We have to start somewhere. And Sia is actually one of my hosts, but he's hosting a show called Tech Talk. But he's such a wonderful gentleman, and I just need to applaud him. I'm very proud of him for joining us here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monica. Adelia, I'm looking at the clock and thinking that it may be time for you to do any closing remarks or any other things that we need to know for today.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. First of all, well, this has been amazing. I think that everybody has enjoyed these testimonials and these stories. I think that we have to program a webinar for each of you to really cover the whole story of whatever you want to share and all the topics that have been brought to the table today. This has been remarkable. I just would like to invite to everyone today to continue taking a look on our agenda in March. We have a set of webinars, podcasts, and panels of discussion for the rest of the weeks. So this is going to be very, very amazing to share with you. All this is free. We like to raise the social awareness. This is our objective. This is our mission. Our mission, as Rhonda used this important word, co-creating. Co-creating. This is fantastic. This is an amazing word, an amazing verb. Co-creating always brings you new windows, new opportunities. And when you will invite someone to keep building, the expectations are more. And this is fantastic when you have a team really backing you up in your individual mission. So I would just want to thank today Rhonda for your amazing support and for bringing us all these stories in an amazing storytelling. That was fantastic just to see how you were connecting all these fantastic stories and fantastic testimonies for all the audience. And for each of you ladies, thank you so much, wherever you are, for all the attendees, wherever you are and from wherever you are hearing us or attending this, all the best. And please keep an eye on our agenda and on our mission. This is going to be uploaded in our YouTube channel. So if someone is missing this, please just invite whoever you want. We're going to provide the link and invite whoever you want to take a look on this again. So thank you. Yes.
I'm just looking in the chat. Can someone put in a link to the program Veronica has asked for? Please share the program so we can plan on our calendars. Is there a link for Veronique so she can have the overview of everything?
What I can do right now via this chat is just to share the whole agenda. Okay, I just had it here. Let me just open here my computer. And here it is. So agenda. Okay. Here we go. So right now, I think it's already uploaded in the chat. Feel free to click on it. There's a big list of all the webinars, podcasts, and panels of discussion. And pages 3 and 4, there you can find each link to register. So please register first, then you're going to receive the access link for each of the webinars. Yeah, thank you, Rhonda. Okay. So anything else, ladies, that you want to share? Nadia?
Yeah, one last thing. I was thinking about the question that Sia made. When we have small problems in our cultures, the only way to tackle them is to solve together bigger problems. So focus on bigger problems to solve. And I think this could be a purpose-driven mission for all of us. Thank you.
Totally. Okay. And here from Christina, Christina says, thank you so much to all these amazing and inspiring women. Thanks, Adeli, for making this possible. Thank you, Christina, for being here. And for all the rest, thank you for joining us today. So
Ideally, the link isn't showing up for Veronique. Can you check on that again, please?
the
In
link,
the chat? She said she can't see the link in the chat. Can you check again, make sure?
there was a document. It's a document, the one that was already uploaded. Can you see it? Can anyone confirm me if the document was already uploaded? Yeah. Okay, it's a
But
document.
Christina also says she can't see any document or link.
I cannot see any doc or link.
Oh, okay, so there's something that's not working. I don't know
Oh,
what that
all
is.
right. I made a mistake. Sorry. I made a mistake here. I should have just clicked everyone. Okay. So here we go again. Thank you for letting us know, Christina. So here it is again, the agenda. Okay. So now everything should be uploaded. Please give me a sign if that's the case. Yes? Excellent. Amazing. All right. So anything else, ladies? All right. Thank you so much. Best wishes, big hugs, and see you tomorrow if possible for the webinar that we have tomorrow, or in other case, next week. We have also, this weekend, we have also stream live from Paris, by the way. So see you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you, everybody, for
Bye.
this space.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.